Following Friday's Freshers' Fair, covered on Monday by our channel, controversies were sparked by the presence of one group and the absence of another. Today, we are getting opinions from students on what they think about the situation and freedom of expression at the SU Freshers' Fair. Bristol's Officer Training Corps were not allowed to attend the fair by the Bristol SU on the grounds that, in their words, groups like the OTC offer an experience which is very similar to, and therefore in direct competition with, our affiliated groups. This decision was widely criticised, including by a 21-year-old member of the OTC, Abby Blackwell, who stated to The Telegraph that this decision was limiting potential career paths. Do you think the Army should have been allowed to have a stand at the Freshers' Fair?
Yeah, of course. The Army is a big part of our country, and they not only do they provide a lot of jobs for people, but it's good to have a bit of pride and to show their face, you know. So I think they probably should have had it, yeah. But I didn't notice that they weren't there, but they probably should have been there.
Personally, it doesn't bother me that the Army wasn't there, just because I have absolutely no interest in the Army whatsoever, and I wouldn't have noticed whether they were or weren't there. However, I've got a lot of male friends who have joined. What's it called? It's like, oh yeah, Army Reserves and stuff. And I think it is a barrier to that opportunity for them. And I think that, I think lots of people seek out the Army, so they should have been there.
On my walk to Freshers' Fair, I got approached by them twice.
Yeah.
Like, they came up and they were like, do you want to join the Army? I was like, I am literally Irish.
Well, I think if people are interested in like joining the military, then there's other places and like so many other ways that they can access that. I don't think it really needs to be at a uni fair.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything against the military. I mean, I'm not particularly pro, but I don't have anything against it. And, you know, it is a career. And I know I have a lot of friends who've chosen a career in the military. And they're lovely, lovely lads. And I also grew up in an area where kind of where schools had ties to, you know, the Army or the RAF or the Marines, and, you know, the school kids got participated on their stuff. And then, you know, you could argue I did see stalls which was like clay pigeon shooting, or I saw there was a couple of funny stalls that I saw in the activities tent that did involve like kind of Army adjacent guns and stuff, and I've got nothing against it at all. You know, why not shoot a gun? It can be good fun. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily penalise the Army for like, yeah.
I reckon that's just as long as it's not something offensive. So. Yeah. Well, I don't want to say any examples, but yeah, no. If it's not hurting anyone, then yeah, I don't see why it shouldn't be.
Yeah. Secondly, Bristol student organisation Students for Life presence sparked backlash from pro-choice students who protested against them. Students for Life made a post on Instagram about the protesters, claiming that they sacked their stall, stole materials, and blocked access to the stall with a poster that read, "Abortion is a human right." So I'd like to ask you guys, first of all, do you believe that the pro-life society should have been allowed to stand at the Freshers' Fair?
Oh, I don't really know about it, because I think to be pro-life is a fundamentally violent view, actually, because banning abortion will never stop abortions. It will just make them happen unsafely. So to say you're pro-life is completely wrong, because you're actually threatening life by being against the medical care that you need to have a safe abortion. However, I think to ban them completely will only push them further in their beliefs, because you feel attacked and it doesn't create space for discourse. So I think that maybe if it was there, I think the way it actually happened this year with their stall was really good, because I think you can have a pro-life stall but only within the context of the pro-choice, pro-life discourse.
It's tricky because it's kind of very offensive to a lot of people. I mean, it's freedom of speech, isn't it? You can't say you can't come here. So yes, technically it should have been there, but it's a bit tricky, a bit sensitive.
I don't think like what benefit does, like, what kind of information are they bringing to, like, why do freshers need to be informed about pro-life opinions? Do you know what I mean? Like, it, you know, like, do society, like, but it's for, like, basketball society and, like, geography, it doesn't have anything to do with stuff like that. You're entitled to have those opinions, but I don't think you're entitled to, like, broadcast them at a place where it's inappropriate, like a freshers fair.
Yeah, very much. I mean, you know, everybody's free to think whatever they want. I'm totally, you know, if you're against abortion or for abortion, think what you want to think. But yeah, I think it's really hard when you're trying to take something like a freshers fair, which is for new students, and they're just coming to join like a fun activity like photography society or roller skating society, and trying to put like a political agenda there is maybe not the best. But yeah, I guess, yeah, I don't know.
How far do you think protesting against them is allowed to go?
If they were saying hateful things that are sort of verging on sort of crime, then yeah, probably you take it down or call the police, but you can't really justify putting stuff down. It is freedom of speech at the end of the day.
No, I think protesting it is absolutely fair. I think taking down the posters is a bit childish and only gives them ammunition, to be honest. But I thought the banner that the two girls stood in front of it with was absolutely brilliant, because I think you would have had a lot of, it's like I was saying before, you would have had a lot of, say there were hundreds of people that walked past that stand that day, however X amount of them are women, and X amount of like those women will either have had an abortion or have an abortion at some point. So I think it is important to show that, to kind of show that it's not everyone's, like the university doesn't support it, if that makes sense. Or like the students of the university, the student community doesn't support pro-life society.
It's, you know, they're expressing their view, like, and everyone else is allowed to express theirs, and so yeah, like totally you should be allowed to protest it if you don't think it should be there.
Yeah, I mean, we are in Bristol, the home of the protest, and actually it's good for the freshers. It's a proper introduction into Bristol and what it stands for. But you know, there's you know, a stand and a reasonable protest with signs, and just like I think protesters are quite a loaded word, you know. But obviously there's like a respectful way to do it, and then there's like a, you know, I don't want to say wrong, but there is a slightly more aggressive and unnecessary way to protest. Obviously I didn't see what unfolded at the fair, so I can't really be the judge of that, but yeah, it's just expressing your opinions in the least offensive way possible, because you know it's important to know everybody's opinions, and have an all-rounded view of things, and understanding, and then to form your own opinion, but you can't be, you know, shoving it in other people's faces.
For some people that could be like a really sensitive issue, and I think that their feelings to tear down the poster, it obviously came with good reason, and you can't really argue against that. Like, these are people's feelings, experiences. It could be a very real issue for anyone at this uni. So yeah, I think that's fair enough then.
Yeah. And then last question, how far do you think freedom of expression can go within uni societies? So like, where would you draw the line to what societies are allowed or not?
I guess at the point where it becomes harmful or threatening to people, I think that's probably where I draw it. Because, I mean, there's a big, wider range of opinions, and people can say whatever they want to say, but if it gets dangerous or, like, particularly hateful towards, like, a certain group, then probably got to call it a quit on that one.
I think university is actually all about, like, I know it's a massive cliche, but I do think university is all about exchanging opinions and ideas. So I think the Freshers' Fair should absolutely be a centre for that, as long as it's not, you know, what's the word, subsiding? I don't know, as long as it's not turning into, like, abuse and violence, or like, yeah, abuse or violence. I think it's absolutely a good place for it, especially as someone who is a fresher, to be arriving in that scene. I think it's important to know what you're getting into, basically.